Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? This is Stupid Player Negative AE, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Let's jump into some tips here. Before I what? Oh, that's all the tips. I was like, oh my goodness, the amount of tips we got. We need new tips. Okay, Torn Diary. I'm ready. Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me I was going to be the victim of the curse this year. I'm going to disappear soon. There'll be nobody left to take care of Satoko. Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me I don't have much time. That I won't stay as myself for much longer. So I had to make the best of the days I had left. What could I leave for Satoko? She wanted that huge teddy bear. She wanted a peaceful life in which nobody would bully her. I whispered to the person at my bank. Bestow your violent nature and formidable strength upon me. I want your peaceful mind. Whoa. Filled with hatred. Glad I caught that at the end there. Okay, so what happened in the last one? Basically, Satoshi is gonna either kill somebody. I mean, he's not gonna run away anymore. I'm guessing that last tip we read was from Satoshi, or it was from us. I don't know. I'm not sure who it was by. Um, I guess the problem, and before we get into this, and I've been thinking about this for a while. The problem with this, right, is they've introduced a twin into this story, and the twin has been there for a long time. Um, but the problem with twins in games is that it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell who is actually who, especially considering we don't know motives necessarily. Um, take a drink. I don't know. I feel like if they pull anything, and if they pull any twist, I feel like the twist is that maybe Shion and Mion aren't actually enemies. But then I don't know, because it also seems like Mion is kind of weird in this one. I don't know. It also feels like maybe, and I know I'm speaking a lot before we even started the episode, but I just want to get my thoughts out there for real quick. I also think that maybe Shion is the actual demon, and that maybe they misdetermined who was the demon. You know, wouldn't that be interesting? Because it would make sense why she's like obsessive and wants to like bully Satoko almost to the point of like death. Like she was beating the fuck out of Satoko with books and shit. And I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like maybe that could be the case. Anyway, let's continue. Before I keep talking for hours. Day of the Watanagashi Festival. June 20th, 1982. 1:40 p.m. What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon. I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. I had a light headache, so I laid down on the sofa. I wouldn't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I'd already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Satoko. I didn't have to do anything myself. I fell asleep, though my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I'd... That would be all I have to deal with. June 20th, 1982, 5:02. What is this, a crime? The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because of her brother-in-law and his wife, because her brother-in-law and wife were pro-dam activists. She surely experienced some fallout during that time of dispute. But people had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her. So she decided to hate them back. Her attitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers. And the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. What came first? Their poor relationship with the neighbors. What came first? Oh, okay. Their poor relationships with the neighbors or her husband's affair. She didn't know herself. Her husband claimed that he got a lover because he was fed up with her attitude. She, in turn, claimed that their relationships with the neighbors had went sour because her husband damaged their reputation. Only Satoshi was aware that both happened almost at the same time. Their quarrels had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce. Their marriage was being as rotten as it was. But he secretly knew the reason for that too. It was the fortune his parents had left. His aunt had hidden the bank book and stamp and never allowed her husband to access them. So her husband would search the house for them. She'd find out he stole some money from her purse. This would cause yet another fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money because his family had been, as far as he knew, poor. It was because of the dam project. His parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They had strived to get more villagers on their side and provided the information to them and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. After someone from the financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko and Satoshi. The couple would fight every day. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress' home. He realized that he had no reason to return to his own home, because he'd just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither their uncle nor their aunt treated the two siblings very well. Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship, so if they separated, there wouldn't be any more fights. Satoshi had thought that at first. But even after they separated, his aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must be talking behind her back. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Since she lost an opponent to fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred towards the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset and how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her by turning a keen eye to her behavior and avoiding conflicts. But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. Satoshi told her to behave in their aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him, though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He covered for his little sister by lying and maneuvering. He tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace. But he couldn't do that forever. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. Satoshi found something in the trash. It probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would come and pick it up. He passed by the street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He found a plain-looking desk, the kind likely to be seen in offices. Somebody must have dumped it within the past few days. His aunt liked to bring usable trash home. She'd had Satoshi help bring a chest home just a few days ago. If he told her about the desk, she'd want it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers. So he'd always open them to check before carrying the thing home. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he'd been carrying all the time until today. It would be very hard to find unless you specifically knew it was there to begin with. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. Okay. So. Okay. I'm just gonna continue. Not gonna call on anyone.
今年も来たね。また根こそぎかっさらってくから覚悟しときなよ。
その先のお嬢ちゃんは、そっちの子は新顔かい？
この子はね、竜宮レナ。こう見えてても結構やるよ。
そんなことないよ。よろしくお願いしますね。
おう、こっちこそよろしく。今年もいろいろ景品を持ってきたんだぜ。もちろん真剣勝負だ。根こそぎ持ってけるもんなら持ってけってんだ。
レナは可愛いものには目がないのですよ。
ああ、あのぬいぐるみとそっちのぬいぐるみはレナの好みだね。
So it does. It does repeat itself. Whoa. It does repeat itself. Remember when I was like... But see, that still doesn't answer a lot of questions. It answers some questions, but it doesn't answer a lot of them. Because this is the same... This is a situation where she finds that stuffed animal, and obviously Keiichi finds that stuffed animal like a year later, and kind of shoots it down for her. It seems like maybe the Watanagashi is always the same? No. No, I don't know what I'm saying. Guys, don't pay attention to me. I'm just thinking about options.
ダメだよ。まだ準備中だよ。おい。
レナ、ダメだ。まだ準備中だってさ。ちゃんと回転したら根こそぎさらってやりな。
もうダメだよ。お持ち帰り。
Laughed, everybody except Satoko. She was standing by herself some distance from the crowd. Her eyes looked dull. Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up.
今日は何も考えなくていいのですよ。いっぱい楽しく過ごしましょうなのです。
Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change.
さとこ、意地悪なおばさんは。そんなことは分かってますわ。なら、いっぱいにぱー。にぱー。にぱー。あいにくですけど、そういう気分になれませんの。申し訳ございませんけど、放っておいてくださいませ。どうして、さとこは笑いませんですか？
Satoko sulkily glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, Nothing would change between her and her evil aunt, no matter how fun the festival was. Once she went home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko, get mad, and shout at her so loudly that the neighbors would hear. How could she have fun even just for today while knowing all that? Satoko didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika.
ではさとこの辛いのが今日でおしまいになるならさとこは笑ってくれますですか？
Did her suffering end today? Because of Rika? Oh. Satoko knew that there was really nothing Rika could do. And so after just a moment of freedom, Satoko fell into depression again.
リカ、くだらない気休めは聞きたくないですわ。
Yo, Satoko. I'm gonna need you to cheer the fuck up.
さとこ、
Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before.
もう決まっていることなのです。
Okay. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. So we got confirmation from Rika that it's been decided that the aunt is dead. Rika's the know-all soothsayer, knows who's gonna die, who's not gonna die before they die, or if they die. So I'm guessing that Rika's telling the truth, that the aunt's gonna die. But I also think that Satoshi goes away as well. I mean, he's demoned away. The aunt gets killed and then he gets demoned, right? He had heard the distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 p.m. After the Watanagashi ceremony, there's going to be a raffle drawing. There were two types of people in Hinamizawa. The people who would go home for dinner and the ones who would stay until the raffle was over. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There were only those two patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. On that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this. That he would keep worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he'd become a wild animal, running on his bare feet. Part of me wants to just talk right now, but I'm just gonna keep going, because if I talk, it's gonna be hours. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, and his sense of smell, all his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance. Only when crouching like an animal. Felt strange, as though he had stepped into another world. Okay, I gotta talk. So, okay, let's calm down for a second. What if? Because it seems like this is the exact same situation. The only problem that I have is, okay. Basically, my theory right now, my theory in my head that I think they're building up to, is that Oyashiro-sama visits you when like shit is like terrible, when like you're at your worst, and takes over your body, and you become this like killing machine. You're still kind of there, but you enter this other world, because Oyashiro-sama has like invaded your body or some shit, you know. Things that don't make sense though are still not making sense. Like, right? Like that doesn't explain much besides Oyashiro-sama's real and he's taking over bodies, and that's how they get demoned away, is they become like Oyashiro-sama takes the bodies for himself. What wouldn't make sense, and what doesn't make sense still, is the doppelganger that happened in Keiichi's story. The way that the uncle came back to life and he was still able to stay in the world. There's a weird there's this weird sense of supernaturalness that I still have not tapped into yet, but I'm working on it and I will be there, I promise. I'm just thinking. There's something going on that I don't understand yet, and it'll happen soon. I know they're going to tell me. I just want to predict it before it happens, and I know that I'm not going to do it, but I'm trying. Battling with his own fear, but now he felt as though he had metamorphosized into a different person. This sounds like Oyashiro-sama. This sounds like Keiichi's thing. But then, if it's the same, then Satoshi will show up at this festival.
それではお楽しみ抽選会のどうぞ皆さん櫓の周りにお集まりくださいな
But the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they'd held a raffle. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people to the festival. At first, the prizes were things the committee members had donated, but Oryu, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had thrown them away. Oryu took the initiative and brought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other such things for the raffle. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her. Oryu was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough in her opinion. Some of the members thought it would be very difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year. This might be the very first and last raffle.
お嬢さんのおかげでだいぶかかったんじゃない運営費で立て替えするよ
すったら銭金のもたく
まあまあそう言わないでお嬢さんのおかげでできたち
こんな私一人パフォクさ
He sounds like okay. The mayor Kimiyoshi is having a tough time pacifying Oryu. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into the tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyoshi assumed that somebody probably got hurt in an accident.
どうしたの牧野さんそんなに息を弾ませたら心臓が破れちゃうよ
Kimiyoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day that there was bad
お
news.
嬢さん悪い話なんだけどいいかい
Accompanied by Makino, moved to Oryu's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered to her the exact same words Makino had told
い
her.
やはい参ったよな
マイルも3度あっちゃんは4度あるっちゅう
お嬢さんそりゃ
面白い話面倒が
警察が今身元を調べてるらしい
Got it.
どうも相当顔面をやられてるらしくて身元の特定が難しそうなんだ
顔がわからんでも
え心当たりがあるのかい
Oryu glared at Kimiyoshi and started chuckling.
バカが綿流しの祭りにも顔を見せんちゃんとお社様を敬って祭りに来ちょるんはそんな目には合わなんとよ
June 20th, 1982, 904.
こりゃ無残なもんっすね。
クマちゃん、死に方ってのは本人が望んだものでない限りお悔やみ申し上げちゃいますよ。そっちどう？ポッケの中身とか個人が特定できそうなものは？
Forensic investigators shook their heads.
サンダル履きで服装もラフ。近くにお住まいの方でしょうね。服装の特徴から周辺に聞き込みをすればすぐに割れそうっすね。
それしかないな。課長からこの山一口さしてかかりそうだからって脅す。その辺注意してくださいよ。
了解っす。
Kumagai gathered some officers and gave them
入江先生が
directions.
到着しました。先生、あそこです。
The doctor got out of his car and headed to the victim's direction.
どうも遅れて申し訳ありません抽選会の手伝いの最中だったもので
先生、今日アルコール本後で風船でも膨らましてもらっちゃおうかな。
ご安心を運転はスタッフに代わって
そりゃ卒がね。おい、先生通してあげて。
There's an area Stoned off with the blue plastic sheets. An officer rolled up the sheet and let Oishi Irie pass. Forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood spatters and bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated with small alphabetized plates.
こういうものは見慣れませんね。
匂いがダメな時は口呼吸にする。まあこういう匂いはね。
The body appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman. It was soaked in blood. It looked like a middle-aged woman because of the hair and what she was wearing. The reason why no one could be certain it was a middle-aged woman was because its face was completely pulverized.
ひどい。
十中八九血痕とサンダル裏から見てここで殺したのは間違いないでしょう。でも見ての通りここは人通りが少ないと言ったって往来ここで頭部がひしゃげるまで殴り続けたってのはちょいと待ってね。ほら腕とか見てみてください。腕は綺麗なもんでし。
それはつまり腕で防いだとか抵抗したとかそういう痕跡がないという。
さすが仏さんはおそらく最初の一撃で脳震盪かなんかで気絶したんじゃないかと思う。で星は確実に殺した手応えを得るためにさらに言えば仏さんはその時うつぶねえ服の汚れ具合から
遺体は仰向けですね。
星は後頭部を散々明らかに頭蓋骨が砕けてる手応えを得ているにもかかわざわざ顔面を潰してるんじゃないかと思うんですよ。
Irie looked like he was going to throw up, both because of the putrid smell and Oishi's
遺
reasoning.
体の顔面を殴るってのはそれもだいぶ濃厚なってことはつまり星は仏のかなり近辺にいるのは間違いないか。
私を呼んだのが救命活動ではないということは。
先生この人が誰か分かれば聞き込みの手間がだいぶ省けるんですがね。
Irie looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then after a while, Irie left the investigation area without saying anything.
すみません。私には分かりかねます。
本当に
Oishi smirked and looked into Irie's eyes, as though Irie was hiding something.
別に隠してなんかいません。
先生もアルコールがまだ抜けき頭が冴えたら思い出すかもしれん。思い出したら教えてくださいね。
Oishi tapped Irie on the back. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, left the scene. Kumagai returned.
おいさん、課長から無線です。1号車の無線っす。
入江の先生ご仏の聞き込み急いでください。ほぼ間違いなくこの近くにお住まいです。
Okay.
おいさん、連れてきました。
どうもどうも。こんな夜更けに申し訳ありません。明日も学校なのに本当に申し訳ないです。
いえ。
お父さんはどちらへ？
うちの寄付はあまり帰ってきませんので。
おお、いつ頃から？最後に帰ってきたのはいつ？
さあ、義母と喧嘩しているのを聞く限りは、最後に会ったのはあまり覚えてないんですけど、先生。
お父さんの連絡先はわかります？
いえ。
キャバレーの人と同居してるって言いましたよね。なんてお店かわかります？
いえ、沖宮のどこかにある。確か。
お父さんの名前は
北条哲平です。
Rishi signaled Kumagai with his chin, who nodded while taking notes.
お父さんとお母さんはあまり仲良くなかったです。
程度の度合いはわかりません。よくはなかったと思います。
率直に聞いて申し訳ないですけど、お母さんに恨みを持っていた人間とか。
よくわからないです。
そうです。じゃあもしも思い出したらでいいの。これ私ここに電話番号あります。
はい。
じゃあ後日またいろいろとお話を伺うこともあるかもしれません。もしもお父さんと連絡がつきましたら、沖宮くまちゃん、北条さんを自宅まで送ってあげ。
いえ、一人で帰れ。
いいえ、そんなこと言わずに、ぜひお母さんを襲った犯人がまだ近くにいる可能性、あなたもまた狙われない保証なんてないんですからね。
お気遣いありがとうございます。でも本当に結構ですね。
Satoshi tried to reject the offer, but Uishi and Kumagai insisted. In the end, Satoshi was forced to accept. He turned around to leave. Uishi spoke to him as if he remembered something he'd forgotten to say.
北条さん。
はい。
大丈夫ですよ。心配しないでください。犯人はすぐに捕まりますよ。
手がかりとかあるんです？
ありますよ。
どんなですか？
捜査上のね。
Ordinary people might think that Uishi was trying to cheer the poor kid up with a joke.
いいね。人を殺すってのはかなり感情の高ぶるもんな。そりゃ冷静に殺してみせるロボットみ。
感情が高ぶると。
人は極限まで感情が高ぶると発汗とか、殺人現場に犯人の毛髪が落ちている。まあここは屋外、現場が絨毯の上ってのとは。
犯人の毛髪は
さあね、鑑識の連中が大列組んでさっきから行ったり来たりしていろいろ探してます。
Yo, I don't know what's going through Satoshi's head right now, but my ass would have been like, oh, good, thank you for helping me or helping us out. I'd really like you to find the murderer, thank you, bye. Asking questions like, did you find their hair, is very sus. Very sus. You should just be like, alright, cool, thank you, bye.
まだ結果待ちでね。
Late.
何が出るやら。
That's when you
今から楽しみですよ。
That's when you book it. Not book it, but
明日があるので
leave.
今夜はもう帰ります。
そうなさ、くまちゃん。
了解っす。
では北条、また近い進展があったらお知らせし。北条さんも何か思い、憎き母の仇の逮捕に。
Is that the halfway? Can we play even the rest of it? I feel like some shit's gonna go down past this point, and I'm not gonna be able to end it before the hour mark. Sis called the morning after the Watanagashi festival to tell me that the curse had struck again for the 4th time. The victim was the evil aunt who was harassing Satoshi-kun and Satoko. Satoshi-kun's suffering should be over now, since the problem with Satoko and the aunt's relationship was with Satoko and the aunt's relationship to begin with. Maybe I should have celebrated, but I wasn't in the mood for some reason.
犯人ってもう警察は目星をつけてるのかな。
Just went quiet when I asked that.
さあね、大石の野郎がしつこく聞き込みをし、犯人は近しい人間に違いないと思ってるようだね。
Being identical twins, Sis and I think very much alike. If I suspected Satoshi-kun of being the murderer, so would she. Because of this, I didn't have to mention the obvious.
サトシ君って祭りの日にアリバイあります？
どうだろう。
Heaved a huge sigh.
バカですね。サトシ君は祭り、そういうことでいいじゃないですか。
そうだよね。気が利かなくてごめん。
Oh, this was stupid enough to forget to make an alibi for him, even though the murder of his aunt alone would raise enough suspicion.
じゃあやっぱりサトシ
君が犯行の時間帯に。たく。
後で警察がうちに来るみたいだから、 来たらサトシは祭りで
お姉、取ってつけた嘘なんか何も手を打たなかったなら、今さらせいぜい正直に喋ってください。お姉は芝居が下手なんだから、変に意識すると。
ごめん。
He sounded depressed. I was the one who should have been suppressed. Mion usually handles things well, but she's not too good with emergencies. I was left worried for the future of the Sonozaki family. Mion must have been embarrassed. She soon changed the subject.
シオン、最近はあまりバイトに行けてなかった。
ご検察おかげさまで。
ごめん。今日は私、夜まで姿を隠してるから、バイトに出られるんじゃない？
Sis has been appearing in public places during festival preparations and whatnot. As a result, I haven't been able to pretend to be here. I hadn't been able to work. As someone who had to support myself, it was a bit of a pain. To be honest, I didn't feel like working, but I couldn't afford to be sitting around either. When I locked my apartment door before leaving, the door of the next apartment over opened and Kasai appeared.
シオンさん、お出かけですか？
そんなとこです。お姉が姿を隠してくれるそうなんで。葛西、暇だったら。
シオンさん、しばらくはバイトを。事件のせいで警察はあまり姿を表に出す。
お気遣いは嬉しいけど、バイトしないと食費もないわけですし。
Kasai might suggest he donate money to my cause. However, I had sworn to myself when I started living here that I wouldn't depend on Kasai. Well, I don't obey anyone else's rules, I stick to my own. Kasai could tell that I was adamant in my decision. So after repeating himself a couple of times as a formal procedure, he decided to give me a ride after all. Every time we went to my uncle's store by car, we stopped at this traffic light. I knew it was going to happen again, but still it irritated me. Pedestrians passed by in front of the car. I was startled to see that one of them looked like Satoshi-kun. It was him. Though I'd spoken with him on the phone just a couple of days before, it'd been a while since I saw him last.
葛西、悪いけどおじさんに、やっぱ今日のバイト、私、ここでおります。
え？シオンさん。
Sai had looked taken aback, but I got out of the car regardless. The light turned green. The car behind him honked while Kasai was shouting at me, so he had to start moving. Satoshi-kun was on his bike, but he was going really fast, or really slowly. I caught up with him in a flash and tapped him on the back.
ハロロー。沖宮で会うなんて奇遇ですね、サトシ君。
I was gonna say I feel like something bad's gonna happen, but then the interesting music started playing, like the heartfelt music. So I smiled as brightly as I could.
Mion.
Looked as tired as always. But as I could tell, he was trying to smile back. My worry suddenly disappeared. I was certain I looked happy. I was aware of that myself, so it must have been obvious to Satoshi-kun.
何があったか知らないけど。
ええ、楽しいです。サトシ君の機嫌が良さそうなので、私も釣られて機嫌が良くなっただけです。
Used him, he looked a bit embarrassed. It was like we were back in good old days. Felt even happier than before.
サトシ君こそ何か機嫌が良くなる。
いいことなんか、おばさんが亡くなって、警察とかご近所とか、いろいろ大変だよ。
I might have asked something dumb. He seemed to be okay with it, though. He frowned a bit at first, but Satoshi-kun continued smiling gently. He looked worn out, but satisfied, like he had accomplished something great. That was the mood I sensed from him. So I was convinced. The one who killed that wicked aunt who tormented Satoko was him. I had absolutely no proof, but I knew it intuitively. So I admitted all those questions. I knew Satoshi-kun's motive for killing his aunt, and how badly he was driven into a corner. I knew the environment and the situation he was in. And I knew Satoshi-kun's feelings. I knew all of that. So I admitted all those questions. I wanted to celebrate his release from that curse, so I smiled like nothing was different as I asked.
サトシ君はどこかへお出かけですか？あ、バイトかな？
正解。その前に寄り道なんだけどね。
寄り道？
毎日ちゃんとショーケースにあるのを確認しないとなんだか不安で。
That conversation reminded me. The reason he started his part-time job was to buy Satoko a huge teddy bear. It was being sold at the toy store just down the street. I recalled that the teddy bear was very expensive. Satoko's birthday was right after the festival. I wasn't sure what day, though. Wait, didn't he say he quit his job? Maybe he was going to greet his ex-coworkers and clean out his locker or something. Either way, he'd be completely free soon, or very soon. Maybe he hadn't been paid yet, and that's why he wanted to check if they still had the teddy bear. Maybe he was only getting paid on Satoko's birthday. When we got near the toy store, he rushed to the display window. He looked relieved that it hadn't been sold yet.
よかったよかった。大丈夫。ちゃんとあるよ。
買えるだけのお金は稼げてるわけなら予約とかしちゃえばいいのに。
もう。
Probably hadn't thought of that. He really did need someone to look after him. I looked into the display window over his shoulder. The teddy bear wasn't that cute, in my opinion. It looked huge and cramped in the middle of the store's showcase. Really, it looked more like a display model than an item for sale.
値札がついてないけど、これ一体いくらするんです？
売り物なのは。
値段は？予算は大丈夫？
大丈夫だよ。ちゃんと確認してあるよ。
Yoshi-kun thought I was teasing him again. He pouted and looked a little sulky.
予算が大丈夫なら予約しちゃいましょう。その方がサトシ君も心の荷が下りていいでしょうしね。
We entered the store and looked for a clerk.
誰もいない。
サトシ君、お給料日を待たずにぬいぐるみが手に入る。
ダメだよミオン。泥棒はいけないよ。
冗談ですって。軽く受け流してほしかった。ひょっとして私が盗っ人の
あ、ごめん。
Yoshi-kun smiled apologetically. I puffed up my cheeks to tease him. It had really been a while since the last time we did this. In between those times, many undesirable things happened that I wanted to forget. But now I felt as though all those things simply vanished into thin air, into the air around us. I found an old person napping in the back. He must be the clerk, I thought. He looked to be fast asleep.
お店の方ですよね。
I poked his shoulder, but it didn't look like he was going to wake up. When I did that, a middle-aged woman wearing an apron came in.
おじいちゃん、お客さんもう、うちのおじいちゃんももうすっかりボケちゃって。
She went to the cash register after that.
お恥ずかしいところ、何かお買い上げ？
あ、買うんじゃ。あのショーケースの中の。
あれ？いいの。値札見た？かなり高いけど。おこつ。
あ、はい、ギリギリ足りるはず。
もうすぐバイトのお給料が入るそうなので、それまで予約したいんですけど。
The woman looked a bit hesitant at first, but she eventually wrote down Satoshi-kun's name and accepted the reservation. Satoshi-kun received a slip of paper.
これでもう誰かに先に買われちゃう心配はもう必要ありません。
お給料がもらえるのはもうすぐなんだけどね。これで安心できる。
He would have kept coming to check every day if he hadn't done this now. He would have spent his time needlessly worrying. Satoshi-kun looked relieved indeed.
これなら普通の人は欲しいと思ったらそういう思考に至らないサトシ君はちょいと希少で。
So very fun to tease him. Those painful days seem unbelievable now. Satoshi-kun looked like he'd forgotten everything that happened up until yesterday.
でもありがとう。
Satoshi-kun held out his hand to touch my head. Was he going to stroke it? I felt my face reddening already. Even before he touched my head, I felt tingly remembering the last time. I didn't care about the murder or whatever else happened. As long as Satoshi-kun had his freedom, everything would be alright. I'd be content as long as we could live happily from today onward. But Satoshi-kun's hand never reached my head. I slowly opened my eyes. Okay. 4 men in suits, okay. It's as though they had been waiting for us to exit the toy store.
Domo domo.
The oldest of the 4 men stepped forward while smirking. I'd never met this man, but it looked like he knew both Mion and Satoshi-kun. He's probably a cop. I ran a search for information in my head, and found some right away.
こんにちは。北条さん、園崎さん。いい雰囲気だったところを邪魔しちゃって実に申し訳ないです。
This must be Kurado Oishi, the cop who's investigating the series of mysterious deaths. He thinks that the Sonozaki family is behind all of the cases. In other words, he's an enemy of the Sonozaki family. He has deep connections with other investigation divisions in the police force and likes to nose around in the businesses in this area. He annoys the Sonozaki family enough as it is by interfering with its Yakuza business, let alone his suspicions on the series of mysterious deaths. Naturally, as the family's successor, he's not a welcome figure to Mion Sonozaki. I try to imagine how Sis would react.
ありゃあ、大石さんでお仕事ご苦労様です。大の大人が4人も揃って、おもちゃ屋、まさかお人形さん買いに来たってわけで。
I know what they want. It's not a toy. It's probably not me either. They want Satoshi-kun. I took a look at Satoshi-kun. He seemed a bit uncomfortable. The other 3 cops loosely surrounded us to prevent our escape.
北条、実はですね。
何それ、任意同行ってやつ？サトシ君、こんなのに付き合う必要ないよ。行こう。
I pushed on his shoulder, but he just stood there, looking pale and bewildered. Bewildered? No, he actually looked resigned. Then, I recalled Sis's mistake. It's obvious that he killed his aunt from the circumstances. You don't even have to look at the crime scene. How could Mion have failed to create an alibi? That stupid Mion must have spoken to the police without making up anything at all. She must have not told them she knew where Satoshi-kun was. If she hadn't done anything, the villagers wouldn't work to help her. It was just a matter of time until the police uncovered Satoshi-kun's complete lack of an alibi. The police were trying to corner him and lead him to confess. I looked at Satoshi-kun's face once again. He looked like a dead man. He probably didn't know he could refuse to be interrogated. If he was taken to the station and grilled by Oishi, he'd confess in a minute. Somebody had to protect him. Nobody had ever been there for him. I had to step up now. But how? Would it be possible to alter what Mion had already told them by saying it was a mistake? That wasn't going to work. If I had more time, I'd come up with an excellent idea, but I didn't have that much time at all. To pressure him, the cops were drawing near. Satoshi-kun must have felt intimidated. He might end up turning himself in due to the pressure while I'm stuck trying to come up with something. I have to do something now. I have to say something. Otherwise Satoshi-kun might give in. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna make me, like, punch you in the face? Is Shion gonna make me not like her by doing what I think she's gonna do? Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't do it.
大して時間はそんな怖がらないでください。
Don't do it. Just said it. He just said he wouldn't let him out if he caught him now. Satoshi-kun, don't give in. If you give in now, everything you've been working for will be ruined. Don't you do it, Shion. Satoshi-kun looked like he was at his breaking point. Oishi was clearly aware of it. Oishi smirked and held out his arm to grab Satoshi-kun's shoulder. I felt electrified when I saw that. hand should not be allowed to touch Satoshi-kun. Jesus Christ. The moment Oishi touched his shoulder, he'd give in. He'd go to the police station and confess everything.
サトシ君にアリバイがあるか知りたいわけですよね。
Hmm?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? How are you gonna... What are you gonna do? I swear to God, prepared to this, I just had to stop Oishi no matter what. I only needed to gain some time. Didn't really matter what I said.
そうですよ。北条聡さんのアリバイが知りたいんです。な私たちの捜査がまずいからなのかな。犯行の時間帯にどうしても北条さんのアリバイが仕方ないから恥をし
そんなの本人に私がアリバイ。
そりゃほんなら助かるな。あの晩園崎さんが神社にいてお祭りの最後まで過ごしていたことはすでにあなたからも聞いているし、そのあなたが。でもあんた、以前実はいましてって、祭り会場の誰一人、北条さんを見て
そうです。私と一緒にいました。それで十分です。
あなたが仲良しのお友達と終始一緒にいたのは分かっているし、私もそれでも一緒にいたとおっしゃるわけで。なはは、そいつはちょっと苦しくん
Wish he approached me with a creepy smile. He teasing me because my excuse sounded funny? I didn't think so. He was frustrated due to being interrupted when he was about to catch a big fish.
祭り会場でずっと一緒に遊んでたのに、すっかり忘れてて今頃になって思い出したと園崎美音さん。
I did get a little scared, but I couldn't stop myself. I could save Satoshi-kun if I revealed my real identity. I was aware of the risk. Grandma would certainly capture me if I revealed it. I didn't think of the consequences. Okay.
っていうか、私ミオンじゃないですし。
Yeah, what happens here? I'm gonna go ahead and end this. That's a good cliffhanger. We're at 52 minutes. Okay. This is better than what I had originally thought that she was gonna do. I thought she was gonna be like, 'cause it was me. And then they were gonna question her and like do shit. That was gonna be the stupidest move that I've ever seen in my life. This is a much better move. It had to happen, right? Because obviously they're different people. When Keiichi arrives, although it's kind of like shrouded in mystery when Keiichi finds out about it and he asks people and people like have no idea really who she is. But it did have to happen. They did have to do this situation. Now the question is, the cat's out of the bag now. So there's a lot of things going on, right? Like, this is Shion coming out as Shion Sonozaki to protect him, but then he gets demoned away. So this is all for naught. I don't know. There's going to be a decent amount that happens here, I'm sure. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. There's lots of visual novel and roguelike stuff, content. But I mix it up from every now and again. Something Insult said to me in the comments was like, you have the information, just think about what you said at this timestamp. And I swear to God, I listened to that timestamp like 80 million times. And I was like, why am I so dumb? Why can't I see what's going on? So, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see kind of, I can't wait until they're like, this is what Rena is. This is what Rena is and why she's like the way she is. Because she's the most demon-like out of everybody. And if I can find out why she is the way she is and why she survived Oyashiro-sama, as far as I know, she's the only one that has survived for some reason. I also think that there's probably like another dimension thing going on. I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff that I'm not sure of, other than the fact that obviously Satoshi killed his aunt. Just like Satoshi had killed his, or killed the uncle that one time. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and wait a second. What if that oh my goodness, I just had a thought. What if the doppelganger's not real? Oh shit. Oh shit, fam. It's been so long since I've said the word fam. Yo, what if that doppelganger's not real and they just made him up so they could give Keiichi an alibi? But then there's a couple things, like Rena is such a mystery. Rena's like a giant question mark. They haven't touched on Rena at all, besides the fact that she went to that school and like broke all the windows and shit, and then came back. That's the only piece of information we have. She like went crazy, broke all the windows, and then she came back to Hinamizawa. And that's all the information we have. And I'm like really curious about her, because I feel like she's the missing element, right? Like if we know what she is, maybe she's like the embodiment of the curse or something. I don't know. Like it would make sense. It also seems like there's another dimension, because when Keiichi and Satoshi are both acting for the curse, quotes, that shit happens. But then another thing is, if I'm looking, oh dude, I can't compare games to games, because if I compare games to games, because none of the games so far, oh my god. I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, you guys.